Hey, Hello Kitty marshmallows! Ooh, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes. And today, about 20 minutes ago, actually, I just finished watching ReZero Season 3 Cour 2, which basically means ReZero Season 3 episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So ReZero, or its full name, ReZero Kara Hajimeru Isekai Seikatsu, Season 3 Part 2. This is the second half of ReZero Season 3, so if you don't know anything about ReZero, you probably have nothing. You probably would have no idea what the hell am I saying. I'm just gonna come out here and say I am sorely disappointed. I am unfortunately, sadly disappointed by ReZero Season 3. I did not expect it to suck, but it kind of did, unfortunately. ReZero Seasons 1 and 2 were fantastic, especially Season 2. I remember watching ReZero Season 2 a few years ago and just being kind of mind blown by how intricately written it is, by how many twists and turns there are, the plot, the atmosphere, the sense of mystery, the constantly engaging characters and conversations. ReZero Season 2 is almost subversive when it comes to these isekai anime tropes. It's like it shows you these isekai things and then it flips on itself in a very interesting way. So going into season 3, I was like, I'm ready for some season 3. And honestly, season 3 part 1 was fairly enjoyable. It starts off kind of slice of life, but essentially it ends up being this really dark and violent series of events which were a surprise for me. I didn't know it was going to be this action-packed and violent, and I was hooked. I was like, you know what? ReZero is trying something new, and I'm interested. So anyways, ReZero, based off a light novel, Nagatsuki Tape, animated by White Fox. You know the drill. In season 3, all the characters, aside from a few, most of the characters, we're talking about Subaru and Emilia, the two main characters, and their crew, Garfield, Otto, basically went to this water city called Pristella. And in this city, they were gonna have this important business meeting, and then that's when like 20 other characters showed up randomly out of nowhere. Anastasia, Crush, Belt, Julius, Reinhardt, like the list goes on. There are just so many random characters who I basically forgot already, and they all just showed up. And then, unbeknownst to them, 4 witch archbishops showed up. So if you didn't know this, we have the witches, which are supposedly the villains of all villains in this world. And then in season 2, it's revealed that the witches are not really villains. They are just there. They're just really powerful figures that no one can really reach. They're in a different dimension or something. But the real villains are the witches' archbishops, these cult leaders who really worship these witches. So, of course, at the end of season 1, we have the Archbishop of Gluttony, which was pretty much the main villain for a very long period of time in ReZero. Not Gluttony, Sloth. And so we have this very crazy and horrifying battle with the witch, with the Archbishop of Sloth. And now, lo and behold, 4 of them showed up at the same time. All 4 of them were talking about wrath, envy, lust, no, wrath, which is this crazy woman with bandage around her hair, greed, which is a white-haired guy who is very prideful, but he's very prideful. I guess it's greed because he wants many wives. So he wants Emilia to become his 52nd wife. We have the Archbishop of Gluttony, which is this creepy little childlike figure, and Gluttony actually previously appeared, and it likes to eat things. So it ate memories, it can eat identity, and so people would just like forget about who they are because the gluttony has eaten their memory, which is horrifying. More on that later. And then finally, we have the Archbishop of Lust, who is this small girl who can shapeshift and poison people with her blood. So, anyways, 4 witch archbishops showed up in the city and they just fight. And I did not expect that the last 8 episodes would just be this one gigantic battle. It's very formulaic. So essentially, at the end of season 3, part 1, Subaru's like, okay, you 2 will fight this witch archbishop, you 4 will fight this person, you 3 will fight this person, let's go! And then it ends. And then literally the next 8 episodes is just the fights, nothing else. So obviously, and I realized that I already made this comparison in the last ReZero review, but it's basically Shibuya Incident, because in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, literally 20 episodes straight, it's just fighting. Nothing but pure, bloody, violent fights. Except the animation is better in Jujutsu Kaisen. Except the villains are more interesting in Jujutsu Kaisen. Except the stakes are higher in Jujutsu Kaisen. At some point in ReZero, I realized that no one freaking dies. And in seasons 1 and 2, it wasn't really a huge issue because, I mean, people do die and then the timeline gets reset and then they're alive again. But there are stakes because characters can die. Those are real stakes. But in the new season of ReZero, actually, even the minor characters who only appeared for like a few minutes, even they don't die. I was like, hey, at least kill them off because then you would have more stakes. But no, even the minor characters never die. There were barely any stakes. And all the characters are pretty much the same. They're all really crazy and wacky. Oh my, nande. Like they all sound the same. It's so silly. Like the Archbishop of Lust is just a crazy little girl. Ha ha ha, you think you will defeat me, but I haven't even unlocked my most powerful move. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha. And they all sound like that. That's not interesting. The villain in season 1, Sloth, was interesting, even though he's also kooky and crazy, but there were little phrases he says, he has a weird philosophy, but all the new villains, they all sound the same, they all talk the same. Again, throwing back to season 2 is magnificent. It's all banger, no filler, because we learn so much about the lore of the anime, the Tome of Wisdom, Rosewall being a backstabbing snake, history about the world, the war on demi-humans, the witches' tea party, what do they mean, Satala's true identity, the mind games, the violence. It's so much darker. Meanwhile, we do have flashbacks in season 3, but they don't do anything. The season 2 flashbacks, by the way, some people complain like, oh, season 2 is a little slow, but even when it's slow, it's still incredibly interesting. The flashbacks in season 2 either add to the lore or are about characters that we already know and love. The 2 main characters, Subaru and Emilia. We had an amazing flashback where we see Subaru in Japan before he got isekai'd, which is such an interesting perspective. And then Emilia's flashbacks, which are so moving and heartfelt and also sometimes scary and haunting. In here, we see none of that. The flashbacks in season 3 are pretty mid. The flashback on Capella, the songstress, we have this girl who like sings, and man, I don't care about her. I just saw her a few episodes ago. I don't know anything about her. I don't care about her past. I just don't care. And we have a flashback of Teresia, who is the wife of Wilhelm, who is the grandfather of this other character. And it's like their family and like loss and grief, but like I don't care. I don't know enough about these characters to care about what happened to them. Garfield, the big cat Garfield, has his own little personal journey where he finds his mother and blah blah blah. But like, I guess the anime just forgot about that because it never really explored that anymore. And Subaru is just not as interesting as a main character. In season 1, it's sort of like this psychological drama about Subaru and self-hatred and ego. Subaru basically doesn't do any of that. Subaru is just like a hero and doesn't have any development or progression. And then we have the fights, which are also like just okay. Some fights are fun, like Subaru and Emilia and Julius versus Regulus, Greed. That was kind of fun, but nothing interesting. The Theresia fight made for some family drama, but it's not that deep. The ending of the last episode is pretty good, very haunting cliffhanger. I do like that, but overall, it's just not that enjoyable. I'm sorry, but how did this happen? How did ReZero downgrade from something so intricate and cleverly written to basically your average generic shonen action anime? I don't know. I mean, again, there are some really great voice acting performances here. Aoyuki as Lust, amazing, amazing. Kobayashi Yusuke, I got his signature, so shout out. I've met the director of ReZero. It's just, why? ReZero season 3 is just a gigantic filler. Like, literally. I learned nothing. Puck doesn't come back. Rem doesn't come back. Almost no one, everyone's alive. And most people are alive and well. Nothing's changed. We didn't learn much about the lore of the world. We didn't learn much about anything. Season 3 is just one giant filler, in my opinion. So, yeah, kind of disappointed. I'm giving the second half of ReZero Season 3 a light to decent 6 out of 10. I'm being generous. So, Season 3, I guess, kind of evens out between 8 out of 10 and 6 out of 10. It evens out to a 7 out of 10 if you put these two parts together. So, have you watched ReZero Season 3? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.